You got the OG, the one generation, Brandon. I don't know if you guys know him. I've met him at Thrive. He's really cool. He's a friend of Sean. So if you guys want to know any fun facts about Sean, anything embarrassing, Brandon is the guy to ask. They went to the same school.
What's the most embarrassing?
And so Brandon knows a lot of his really embarrassing things. Well, we gotta let him come on stage. If you guys keep bombarding him with answers, you're gonna put a wall, and he's not gonna be able to come on up. So we're gonna give it away to the OG.
What's the most
OGB.
embarrassing things he's ever
I don't
done?
think so.
Were you there when they like cut the bunch of Thomas?
No, I have 1.5 million crazy stories about your youth pastor, Sean. If we have time, remind me. I'll tell you about the time you stole my girlfriend. Well, hey, it's a great story. I'll try to squeeze it in here. But hey, so question for you guys, real quickly. Like, what are some of your favorite games that you play in general?
Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity. Okay, what else?
Cursive.
What games do you like playing? Life.
Cursive.
What, Skyrim? Oh, Skyrim. I've played many hours of that in high school. Yes, sir. Dallin, what'd you like?
Doom.
Doom? Okay. There's a new one coming out. I heard good things. What is it?
Fighter Z.
Fighter Z? I don't know what is that?
Dragon Ball game.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've heard that one. Yeah.
EFT and CSGO.
Okay. How about youth group games? What are some of your favorite games to play in the youth room environment? Be it on Sunday mornings or Wednesday nights, whatever. Yeah, what's that?
It's a cup game.
The cup game? Which one's the cup game? Like rock, paper, scissors, cup? Or head, shoulders, knees, and cup? Head, shoulders, knees, and cup? Oh, dude. Head, shoulders, knees, and cup. I get into that game. What are the youth games do you like playing? What are other youth games you like playing?
Anything to do with Smash Bros.
Smash Bros? Smash Bros? That's good. If we can cut the music, that'd be fabulous because I have ADHD and I can't handle it. So my favorite youth games growing up and still today as a youth worker, my favorite youth games to play are the ones that involve tag of some sort. I am a sucker for a good competitive game of tag. Tag is one of those games where it just engages your entire person because not only is it athletic where you're in a super competitive where you have to outspeed your opponent, but you also have to outsmart your opponent where you're constantly trying to layer and figure out, okay, well, where am I trying to go? How am I going to get to the person in front of me? Because I can't just go in a straight line the entire time because the other person's dodging and weaving. So I have to be smart about it because I have to be really, really strategic. I love the game of tag. We're in the middle of this series here in Inside Out called The Chase, which is talking all about chasing after Jesus, the importance of chasing after Jesus. Because in reality, every single one of us, whether we realize it or not, is chasing after something in life. There is something that we are chasing after as the most important thing in our life and what we are going after, whether we realize it or not. And if you're playing, it's in a game of tag, imagine a good game of tag. If you have two people who are starting off right here, back to back, and they start running off in separate directions, and I'm here in the middle, I'm it. I have to choose which person I am going after, right?
The one closest, slowest.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The weakest member of the group.
Now, true or false? True or false, real quickly, help me out here. If in this game of tag, and you have these two people who are back to back, and they run away from each other, if you choose to run after one person, you are choosing to run away from the other. True or false?
True.
True or false? If you are running after someone, you are choosing to run away from the other someone. In life, if you are choosing to chase after something in life, you are choosing, by definition, to run away from something else. So say if your main priority in life is fun. Say your main priority in life is to have fun. You just want to have a good time. You're just here to party. That means that you are going to be chasing after that, running after that like a game of tag. And you're going to be running away from things that are not fun. If fun's your biggest priority, that means things like responsibilities are not going to be the most important thing for you. You're going to be running away from them. Things like homework are going to be pushed aside. I can do that later. I don't need that because I have fun. That is my biggest priority. Chores, biggest priority. Chores are not that priority. They are going after fun. If your main thing in life, if the most important thing that you value in life is sports or athleticism or being an artist or a musician or whatever, then you're going to make that your biggest priority and you're going to run away from things that are distractions to that. You're going to choose to do some things and choose to not do other things that would be a distraction from your main goal. We are all running towards something, and we're all running away from other things. That is our just point of life. That's what it means to be chasing after something. And I think a lot of the time we all have this one common thing in our lives, that no matter what it is that we are chasing after, we have one common thing that we regularly run away from. And I think it's a simple 4-letter word. We don't like 4-letter words. This one is pain.
Oh,
how many of you like pain?
I just got pain from that.
Yeah, pain. I'm not a fan of pain. Pain is the worst thing, and we just naturally like to go away from pain. If we find a painful situation that we're in, no matter what level of pain it is, it could be the pain of, actually like physically getting injured. It could be the pain of being really annoyed by somebody. It can be the pain of being insulted by somebody. It can be the pain of whatever. We're not there yet. I'll tell you where we're at the first slide. But pain is a regular experience in our life. And when we're talking about the chase, and this series being about the chase of running after Jesus, then that means that we need to experience pain in different ways. This is our main point for the morning. Our main point for the morning is that chasing Jesus means going through pain wisely. Chasing Jesus, it's the very first slide. It should be the very first slide up there. Chasing Jesus means going through pain wisely. The book of James in the Bible, it's towards the very end of your Bible, is written by the half-brother of Jesus. And he writes this letter as like this book of wisdom. And he starts off this entire book with one of the weirdest statements I think I find in the Bible. So this is James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4. It says this: "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." This is one of those weird statements, because generally speaking, when we experience pain, we want it out of our lives. We don't want to go through pain. We just want to get rid of it. But James says, hey, when you're dealing with pain in your life, you should count it as joy. You should count it as an opportunity for joy. Because without pain, we would miss out on some of those great big opportunities for us to grow. We would just be missing out on that. So, if we want to be chasing after Jesus, as this entire series is about, that means that we need to figure out how to deal with pain wisely. We need to learn to not necessarily run away from pain, but to be able to deal with it in a wise way. So, fun fact, there are 2 different types of pain in the world. There are only 2 types of pain in the world. There's one pain. No, those are not the 2 types of pain. Those are subcategories of other types of pain. The 2 types of pain, the first pain is called bad pain, and the second pain is called good pain.
Like laughing so much it hurts.
Partially. That's an incomplete picture of what it is. Because there's such a difference as good pain and bad pain, going through pain wisely starts with recognizing what kind of pain it is you're dealing with. If you're in a painful situation, if you're in a painful situation, it is important for us to figure out what pain are we dealing with. So the first kind of pain is called good pain. Good pain is this. Good pain is pain with a specific, healthy purpose. Good pain is pain with a very specific, healthy purpose. This is pain that inherently does something good for you. For instance, a really good example is working out. How many of you really enjoy exercise? How many of you are like me and hate exercise? I hate it. I can't handle it. It sucks. But true or false, even if you like it or if you don't like it, true or false, working out is painful. True or false?
False.
You cannot tell me that you go through exercise and you never feel pain whatsoever. Yeah, you feel pain? You feel pain?
No, you feel sore.
You feel sore? Sore is a form of pain. Sore is a form of pain. Rafiq, don't undermine me. What are you doing? No, pain. When you work out, you start feeling sore. You feel pain as a result. Is that pain a bad thing?
No.
No. Do you know what that is doing when you are getting sore from working out? Hey, this is crazy. Because when you are working out, your muscles are literally tearing. They are damaging themselves so that they can heal up and become stronger. So that pain of working out is pain with a specific healthy purpose. You get, if you don't work out, if you say, oh, I don't like the pain of working out, guess what? You don't wind up getting stronger because you aren't going through the work in order to get that. That's why you see those guys who like skip leg day and have like the tiniest legs on the planet because like, I don't like my legs being sore. Well, guess what? You look like a chicken with your legs right now. Like that's what happens when you avoid pain. A lot of you talked about playing video games. How many of you like play games that involve a lot of grinding for XP or grinding for weapons or grinding for whatever? That's another really good example. It's this boring, repetitive activity that's annoying. It can get frustrating. That's a form of pain, but it's ultimately something that helps you so that you can be better at the game. If you're learning to play an instrument, how many of you are instrument players or like learning how to play instruments?
I play guitar.
Play guitar?
And bass.
Perfect. Guitar and bass. That's the perfect example. What was your name?
Felix.
Felix. So guitar and bass. When you're learning how to play guitar and bass, do you get sores on your fingers?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Because you're literally you're literally like plucking really thin pieces of metal. So you get sores on your hands. That pain is not a bad thing because it means that your fingers are getting stronger. They're getting to the point so that you are able to have more endurance so that when you play in the future, you can play longer and play harder and just be better at it. That's what good pain is. Good pain is something that it gives you that has a very specific healthy purpose attached directly to it. And this is the thing about good pain in our lives, is that good pain needs to be embraced. That's the next point, next slide. Good pain is something that we need to embrace. Because when we encounter good pain scenarios, the point is not to run away from it. The point is to embrace it. Because if we run away from good pain opportunities, then we lose out on chances to grow. Now here's the thing. Not all pain in our life is good pain. I'm gonna be real. Not all pain in our life is good. Not all pain in our life is designed to make us stronger. Some pain is just pain to hurt. Some pain is pain that is just designed to hurt us, to beat us down. And that pain is called bad pain. Bad pain is this. Bad pain is pain that is designed just to hurt you. Pure and simple. It hurts. It can be the pain of bullying. It can be the pain of abuse. It can be the pain of a breakup. It can be the pain of abandonment, of illness, of depression, of anxiety, of you name it. Bad pain tears you down. It breaks you apart. It has the power to leave you feeling isolated, feeling hopeless, feeling worthless. It's part of the world. Because this world, would you agree with me, this world sometimes can be a really sucky place to be. It's not always the best. And bad pain is a part of that package because we're human. And when we're chasing after Jesus, we can't, bad pain isn't something that's designed for us to embrace because it's not the way that the world is supposed to be. So it means that the way we approach bad pain as Christ followers, as Jesus, as Christ chasers, changes also. Romans 8:28 says this. It says that when we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. One of the most amazing things, guys, about following Jesus is that it means that no pain in our lives is wasted. This is what this verse does not mean, by the way. This verse does not say that, hey, when you are a follower of Jesus, your life circumstances are going to look great. It is not saying that Jesus following means you have a happy life. Doesn't mean that you have an easy life. Doesn't mean your pain goes away. It still exists because that's the world that we live in. But God's able to take our bad pain and make something good come out of it. God takes what the enemy meant for evil in our lives and he turns it into something good. He turns it into a moment that is a growth moment. A really, really good example, because I promised I'd share some dirt on Sean, your youth pastor. So in college, Sean and I were roommates together. So we lived in the same room. We had a bunch of hangout sessions. Like people would regularly pour into our room. We had movie nights like every single Friday that would sometimes get up to have over 15 people crammed into a tiny little like dorm room that is like, I don't know, from like this half of the stage over to the pool table. That's about as big as our room was. We'd have 15 people all jammed into the space. We had a lot of fun with it. And over time, we'd have some new people come in and out and join us. And one time, this girl showed up. And she was like Brandy. She's a fine girl. You ever hear that song? It's a good song. Well, listen, look it up. That's a really dated reference. I'm sorry, but no, he's wow. I ate
I know what you're talking about.
Thank you, appreciate it. But I make like a reference to an old song. Everyone's like, what? But like no, this girl was really, really attractive, really, really smart, really, really pretty, really, really witty, and she was just really, really meshed well with us. And I'm like, okay. I think I want to date this girl. I think I want to see where this is going. And after a few times of her hanging out with us, I was sitting with Sean in our room, and we'd be talking, and Sean would just be like, hey, that girl's pretty great. I really like her. And I'm like, don't you dare. I'm like giving him the look, going like the, what are you doing? Yeah, he basically called dibs. No, like he called dibs on top. Like he's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna pursue that. I'm like, oh, you monster. Oh. Like it came to a point where he like came up to me and was like, and this is the thing, he knew that I was interested in this girl also. Like he admitted later that he totally knew about this. And like the day he was gonna like ask her out, he's like, hey, so I think I'm gonna ask this girl out. I don't know, what do you think? Should I do it now or should I do it later? I'm not sure. He was like looking at me and I'm like, later, dude.
Much later.
Just much later. Man. Easily later. And he went, okay. Do you know how we asked her out also? This makes things like even more insulting. Like he asked her out dressed up as a wizard.
What?
Like I have a picture, like afterwards come up to me, I have a picture, I forgot to add it to the slides. But like full on like gray robes, wearing like a giant beard, like yeah, like she said yes! As a wizard! That adds even more insult to the injury. Sean comes up, steals my girl, and then does it as a wizard.
Okay. That's it. The instant that Sean comes back, I'm going to call him Mr. Steelio Girl.
Mr. Steelio Girl. That is exactly who, he is Pastor Steelio Girl. That is exactly who he is. That needs to be his official title.
Oh, Sean is so going to get him.
I know. But here's the thing with that story. After Sean was like, hey, should we do it now? Should I ask her out now or later? I'm like, dude, and I was like, I'll do it later. Like before he asked her out that night, I was like, hey, listen, dude, like, I'm not gonna try to stop you. But like, I was hoping to ask this girl out also. So like, this sucks. Like ultimately, it's not fun. It's not great. And I was real. I'm like, I don't know that I'll be able to hang out with you as much, like because I'll just hurt. It'll be painful. It's a bad thing. It was a source of bad pain, and that was what it was like for a couple months there. It was a kind of a weird, like our friendship was still there. We were still buddies. We still like roommates together. Still had events together, but like I was distant because I felt like I lost my best friend for a little bit of time. And through this bad pain experience, I couldn't see the light. Like, I don't see how there can be any good that comes from this. But after a little bit of time, Sean and I were able to actually be more honest with each other as a result. We had honesty that resulted of saying like, hey, how are you feeling? Sean would regularly check in on me and go like, hey, how are you doing with this? Like, I know that this was hard, and I know this was a sucky thing that I did. And as a result, while our friendship grew, And also, turns out I really dodged a bullet because the way that they broke up, whoo, she was a psycho. No, I cannot. For Sean's sake, you'll have to ask him. But it was a really, really messy breakup. And Sean and I were able to grow a lot closer together as a result of this entire relationship. So now I have a friend who is closer than a brother because we went through bad pain together. That is what God was able to do in the midst of this bad pain circumstance. And here's the thing also, this is the other thing that God does through our pain experiences, is that God is able to take whatever comfort that we receive when we come off the other side of our bad experiences, and he makes it so that we are able to, in turn, help other people who've been through the same thing. 2 Corinthians 1:4 says this. It says that he, being God, gives us comfort in all our troubles. Then we can comfort people who have gone through the same troubles. We give the same kind of comfort that God gave us. Guys, do you realize that in your individual pain circumstances, I don't know your stories, I don't know what kind of stuff you've been through, but in your individual pain circumstances, you are uniquely qualified to help other people who are going through the same stuff that you have already been through. Because you are able to speak into that in ways that I could not if I haven't done the same thing. I've never gone through abuse, but someone who has gone through abuse can comfort other people who are going through the same thing in ways that I just never could. God can use whatever your circumstances are going through to be able to help other people. So we're going to end this real quickly with 3 really, really practical steps. These are 3 really practical ways for us to deal with our pain and our relationship with Jesus. The first thing that you can do is talk to God about it. When you are going through pain, be it good pain, be it bad pain, whatever that be, if you are going through pain, talk to God about it. Because if our main goal is supposed to be chasing after Jesus as the #1 priority in our life, that's what this series is all about. That's what we're challenging you guys with over the next few weeks. Then shouldn't we talk to Jesus, our main priority, about the stuff that's going on in our life?
Yes.
Be real. Sure, God knows exactly what kind of circumstances you're going through. Don't get me wrong. But it still helps. It's amazingly helpful for us to be able to talk to God and be, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what's going on. This sucks. Hey, also, can you please help me to have wisdom to be able to know what I'm supposed to do in this? Because if you ask God for wisdom, he will give it to you. He will give it to you in abundance if you ask him. So talk to God, and he was going to do some amazing, you'll be amazed at what happens when you just open up to God about what's going on in your life. The second action step is this. Talk to godly friends about this. We're not meant to go through life alone, guys. We're not supposed to go through painful circumstances alone. We need each other. We need one another. And so when you are going through stuff, whatever that stuff is, have other people involved in it. I know that no matter how bad my circumstances would be, that I have someone I can turn to because I have friends like Sean, who's able to be, hey, just be there for me, to be able to talk sense into me if I'm being stupid, who's able to talk wisdom into me, to be like, hey, maybe this is what you need to be doing. Or this was crazy. I was in a really, really low place a couple months ago. I was just super, super depressed, super bummed out. I'm just hurting. Life doesn't make any sense. Nothing seems to be going right in my life. And Sean goes, okay, cool. See you this week. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm going to drive out there. We're going to hang out for a day. He drove 3 hours just to be there in my life. You have no idea how comforting that is unless you have been through that yourselves. Guys, include other people when you're going through pain. Include other people who are going to point you towards Jesus, who are going to be a comfort to you. It's going to change your life. And thirdly, talk to caring adults about it. When you're going through pain, don't just rely on your peers, but talk to people who are older than you as well. Your leaders care deeply about you. They love you to death. And they are here for whatever things you're going through in your life. They're here to support you. They're here to point you towards God. And they're here to just listen. And you'll be amazed, because that verse we talked about earlier, where God comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others, these leaders have been through stuff.
they have a little bit more wisdom that's been added onto their lives as a result of what has happened and how God has brought them through pain. Talk to them about it. Small groups is a great way to do it. Outside small groups is a great way to do it also. Because I think small groups is one of the best things. We're about to break out into them. But small groups is one of the best ways to do it because you're not only talking to leaders about it, adults who care about you, but you're also talking to your friends about it in the safe environment. And you get to talk to God about it and talk about God and how you're going through your painful circumstances. So we're going to break you off into small groups. I'm going to pray first. And then I just pray that you'll have some amazing, amazing conversations as a result. God, thank you so much for these students. Thank you for the fact that you are so good, that you don't waste any of our pain, that you don't waste any of our circumstances. God, I just pray that as we go from this place, that you just help us to know how much you care about us, that you help us to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you help us to be able to tell the difference between good pain and bad pain, and that when we go through good pain, that you'll help us to embrace that, and that when we go through bad pain, you'll help us to embrace you. And God, we cannot wait to see what amazing things you're going to do on the other side of our pain situations. We pray for this all in your name. Amen.